All right, everybody, this is Mr. C of Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy, and welcome, everybody. This is the guitar lesson, single instrument lesson, part of your single instrument lesson package. This is day one, okay? So today we're going to go right into learning the basics of the guitar. Now, just to clarify, guys, with this guitar lesson, okay, and with any of the other lessons that you choose from your single instrument lesson package, okay, remember it's $20 a month, okay. When you undergo this type of class during our 10 o'clock to 10:30 Eastern Standard Time in the morning in the AM, okay, what happens is that the comments section is open for any questions while we're doing our lesson. Okay, you can ask any questions you like. I cannot see you. It's not like the same thing as a regular private lesson where I can see what you're doing and and comment or critique on anything that you're doing. However, if you're not sure of something, you can definitely go into the comment section and ask questions. I'm going to be looking pretty frequently. Okay, I keep looking this way because this is my monitor, but I'm going to keep looking very frequently in the comment section to see if there's anybody asking any questions, and I would be more than happy to answer any questions during this live lesson, okay? However, if you're one of those people that don't get to see this live lesson right now at this time, okay, at the time that I'm doing it, then it is definitely available again so that you can see it through our Patreon dashboard, okay? So but by the way, this first one actually is also going to be shown to the public for free so that you guys can get a chance to see. For anybody who's kind of on the fence, I'm not sure if I want to do guitar lessons just yet. Okay, well, I'm showing day one free so that you guys can get an understanding of what we do during guitar lesson, okay? And the same thing I did with also yesterday's piano lesson that was at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm going to be basically doing all the day ones this week, okay? Tomorrow's supposed to be drums. Okay, for those who are interested in drums. On Thursday, it's going to be a voice lesson, anybody who's interested in singing. And on Friday will be ukulele, okay? So let's get right to it, everybody. Here we go. Get out your guitars. You should have your instrument. I know that, again, this is a guitar lesson, so if you're joining me right now, okay, or you're looking at this video, okay, you should have your own guitar, okay? And then let's get some particulars actually out of the way when it comes to your guitar, okay? So make sure that whenever you're handling your guitar, and by the way, this is going to go over the young upcoming weeks. All these lessons are going to be very sequentially in order, okay? I'm going to show you certain things in a particular sequential order, okay? The reason being is and some of you who are joining might already have some experience with the guitar and just need some touch-up on skills. However, I do have to start day one, and every day after that, not every day after that, but day one, I have to start today's lesson as if we're starting from scratch, from the beginning, which some of you who may have had some experience with guitar might need kind of the fundamentals again. You guys might need that just as a reminder, okay? But definitely for those who are joining, who have joined and are undergoing this lesson package right now and have probably never had any experience whatsoever, I have to cater to them as well, okay? So we're going to go in sequential order. So this is, again, day one. We're starting, right? We have to have of course, our guitar. We have to have our pick, okay? That's what's going to be, we're going to use to pick at the strings or to strum them, okay? When you handle your guitar, make sure you're always grabbing it by the neck. This is the neck of the instrument. You always grab it with your left hand, by the way, by the neck, okay? Never grab it by the headstock. This is the headstock right here. You never grab it by there because over here you'll have the tuning pegs, which, by the way, your instrument should be tuned before starting, okay? At some point, I think I'm going, probably the next week's lesson, we'll go over tuning if need be, okay? But you should have a tuning, either a tuning component, okay, or on your phone, okay. Which I do. I always tune my instrument to using the tuning app that I have on my phone, which you can get a lot of. There's many different ones for free. I happen to have one that's called Guitar Tuna. as in tuna fish. Okay, they call it guitar tuna, but it actually tunes the guitar and ukulele and even the mandolin. Okay, so I have those functions on that particular app, and it was absolutely free. So if you don't want to pay money for a component, at your local music store or whatever, you can also go on your Google store, or if you have an iStore, if your Apple store or whatever you have. Okay, go to your app store on your phone and find a tuning app for free, and it'll work just fine. Okay, the microphone definitely hears every tuning. It knows which string is supposed to be on which note. Okay, but as we go along, okay, let's go over the parts again of the instrument. So we said this is the headstock. These are the tuning pegs. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tuning pegs, which goes along with 6 strings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so we have 6 strings to our guitar. This is again the neck, which we handle it by. Whenever we grab the instrument, we want to grab it by the neck. Okay, and on the neck itself, you see this flat board-like thing. This is known as the fretboard. Why do they call it the fretboard? Because the lines that are going across, those are your fret lines. Okay, so this is your fretboard, okay, in which you would take your left hand with your fingertips and press on any given one of these strings. Depending on what you're doing, you're going to be pressing down firmly using your fingertips, and I'll go over technique in a little bit. Okay, but then you have the back of the neck over here. Okay, you have the body. This is the body of the guitar. Okay, and you have your sound hole. Okay, your sound hole where the body is hollowed out. It's hollowed out wood, so that anytime that you sound, you strum the strings, or you pick out of strings, the sound travels. Science-wise, it travels in through the sound hole and back out to the human ear at 440 beats per minute. Okay, just a little science there, scientific knowledge there when it comes to the study of sound. Music is scientific study of sound. Okay, then you have over here this bottom part that holds the strings. Okay, this rectangular sort of part over here, this is known as the bridge. Okay, so we have the bridge, the 6 strings, the sound hole, the body, okay, the neck, the fretboard on the neck, you got the fret lines, okay, the 6 strings to follow, the headstock, and you have the 6 tuning pegs. Also, don't let me forget, this is not this white part right over here at just between the headstock and the neck. This white line going across, that is known as the nut. Okay, this is the nut, not to be confused with the other fret lines that go across. Okay, this is not a fret line, this is a nut. Okay, so again, nuts and frets. Okay, and that's just a quick breakdown of the different parts. We have to know the different parts of the guitar, the different parts of the instrument, so that we can have a better understanding of what to do here. Okay, now technique and posture. Okay, when you're sitting, okay, whether you're standing or sitting, okay, but in this case I'm sitting, right? Our backs should be straight, okay, and that's something that anybody that's taken the general music classes with me has no need to say, that we always have our back straight and our shoulders are relaxed. Same thing with this particular instrument. Our posture is everything. That is what allows us to play with fluidity, okay, with skill, okay, and be in control. Okay, our posture has to be correct. Okay, so backs are straight, shoulders are relaxed. Okay, you're going to take your left hand is supporting the neck for now. I'm not pressing on anything on any of the strings. Okay, meanwhile, my right arm is over here sort of cradling, going over the body. Okay, and having my pick ready. See, it's kind of like a diamond shape type of thing where my thumb is. That's the pointy side. That's what we're going to use for strumming. Okay, so just for now, I'd like everybody to take their instrument like we have. And by the way, I also have it on I'm going to raise my leg over here. I have the curvy part of the body on my lap for support. We don't want over here. We don't want to be over here. You don't want this part to be on your leg over here, because that's going to be very uncomfortable. Okay, it was uncomfortable just me doing that just now. Okay, but you want that curvy part for support, okay? And your feet, okay? You don't see my feet right now, but your feet should be flat on the floor, okay? If you're on the younger side and on the smaller side and your feet happen to be dangling on the floor, okay? Simply move your bottom to the front part of your chair, your bench. I'm actually sitting on my piano bench, which is what I do everything musically because there's no arms. Make sure your chair doesn't have any arms, okay? Because that could definitely get in the way. You want to use a stool, you know, something with no arms again, and even better, something with no back. Now, if you have a back to a chair, that might be okay as long as there's no arms in the way, okay? No arms for the chair. But if you're on the short side, make sure that you move your bottom to the front part, the frontmost part of the seat, at least until your feet are flat and touching the floor, okay? This way you can maintain your posture with stability, okay? All right, so we're sitting up straight again. Our shoulders relaxed. Everybody take a deep breath. Okay, and let's get right to it. Okay, so now we're not taking our left hand to do any fretting, is what they call it. Any fretting not right this second. Let's focus on our strumming, shall we? Let's take our pick, pointy side facing the body of the strings over here, and I would like everybody to just strum one time going down using your wrist. A little bit combination of a little bit of the elbow, but mostly your wrist when it comes to the strumming. Everybody watch me first. It goes. Okay, so everybody try that right now. Everybody go and strum. Okay, how does that feel? Feels good, right? If you find yourself digging into the strings, okay, it's not the worst thing in the world, but let's let it skate across those strings a little bit easier. Okay, and you can be as loud as you want, guys. Okay, you could do that. Everybody, let's try it again. One more time and go. Okay, now everybody strum upward. I want everybody to just go like this, okay? Utilizing the wrist. We don't want to use too much arm, okay? We don't want to do that, okay? Even again, with more of the wrist, that's plenty of noise, even if we're going up. Okay, so everybody try that. Really strum the strings upward, please, and go. Okay, how'd that feel? Pretty good? Again, if you find yourselves digging into the strings, okay, try to avoid that a little bit and try to let it skate across. Okay, one more time, everybody give me one strum down and one strum up. Ready, and go. Down and up. By the way, if you're wondering how I'm stopping, you might be hearing a lot of resonance. Okay, and you're wondering why is it taking so long to stop, whereas mine didn't take very long at all. Notice when I strummed, or even just now while it was still resonating, I gently put my hand on the strings. Okay, so if you want to strum it, which is going to come in handy when you're doing single beats, when you're strumming, when you just want it to end very quickly. Okay, I let that resonate for a little bit. All you have to do is gently place your hand on the strings, just like that. Okay, just like so. Okay, so that's how you get it to stop resonating as you're playing. Okay, all right. Now let's take a look at the board. Okay, this is very important. Okay, and what I would like for you guys to do is to copy this down on a blank piece of paper. Draw it on a blank piece of paper if you can at some point, you know, whether while we're doing the video or a little bit later. You can always, again, for those who signed up, okay, or you can always go back. Okay, or if you're getting this lesson free, by the way, again, this is day one. Okay, after today, after this week, I'm not going to be showing any more lessons for free, because this is really reserved for those people who have signed up and paid the $20 okay for the month in order to get these lessons. Okay, so if you haven't already, you know, do this right now. But I'm doing this free so that you guys can again see what you're getting for $20 a month. Okay, take a good look at the board right now. Okay, I titled this kind of guitar tab. Okay. Let's look at the side over here, the right side of the board. First of all, this is I'm going to be using a lot of these diagrams, these guitar tabs, if you will, okay, to symbolize all the different notes that we're doing or learning when it comes to the guitar. Okay. First of all, when it comes to this diagram, and even this one also, okay, we have sort of a square, okay, a rectangle, if you will, okay? We have lines going across and we have lines going up and down vertically, okay? The lines that are vertical represent the actual strings, the 6 strings of the guitar, okay? We start off here with the low E. Here's the second string is the A, third string is the D, the fourth string is G string, your fifth string is your B string, and your last string, the thinnest string, by the way, on the guitar, is your high E string. Okay, so let me just show you what I'm talking about here. So if we were looking at this guitar tab in this fashion as we're playing, all right, everybody take a look. Okay, this is your thickest string on the top. That is your low E string, which is first over here from the left. Okay, it's from the left. It's over here actually from the top. Okay, so it's your thickest string, which is again your low E string. Okay, then when you go to the second string, that is known as your A string. Okay, that's your A string. Okay, the next one, the third down, is your D string. Your fourth one is the G string. Your fifth one is your B string, and then the last one, which is the thinnest one because it goes from thick to thinnest, that is your high E string right there on the bottom. Okay, that's again, if you have it on your left side, it shouldn't be on your right side. If you have this going on, something's wrong. Okay, so you should be on your left hand, low E, A, D, G, B, and high E. Okay, those are your 6 string names in which the strings should be tuned to those notes. Okay, they should be tuned right away to those particular notes. Okay, so there it is. Your vertical lines on the tab represent your strings. Okay, on the guitar, the letter names to the strings on your guitar, and then the lines across. Okay, there is, there's the thickest line on the top. That is your nut, like the way I showed you over here. That's your nut. Okay, then you have your first fret. Okay, your first fret. Take a look on my guitar. Also, I'm pointing right at it. Your first fret. Here's your nut. Here's the first fret. Okay, the second fret line. So there is the second. Here's the second fret line right here on my guitar. And then there's the third fret line. We're going to go as far as the third fret line right over here. Okay, so you got your first, second, and third fret line, which is what we're basically working with today when it comes to what we're learning, which is our C scale. Okay, and then the nut is right there on top. Okay, so these guitar tabs are going to be very useful. Okay, now going along with our guitar tab, sometimes we'll see them. Okay, we'll see the guitar tabs shown vertically, and then sometimes we'll see them shown horizontally. Okay, so this same thing depicts the same guitars. Okay, except it's been done I should say horizontally, where we have the fret line. Here's the nut. I should say here's the nut. The thickest line is the nut. Okay, here's the first fret, second fret, third fret. Okay. And then we have the individual strings that we're going to play when it comes to the C scale. Everybody say that, C major scale. Okay, so our C major scale has to start with our A string, except that we're placing one of our fingers on the A string between the second and third fret so that we can play our low C. Okay, we can play our low C. Then notice I put a little number there to say that is first. That's the first note we play. After C comes D, okay, and that I have it right over here because it's right above the nut, which means that this string, your D string, which happens to be your D string, is going to be played as an open string. Let me say that again. This D string is going to be played as an open string. It is the second note that we play, and on that third string of the guitar, we're going to play it as an open string, which means we don't have to place our fingers anywhere to play the D right after C. Okay? After D comes E, is your third note, but now we're going to be on the D string, but this time we're placing one of our fingers to that D string between first and second fret. Okay, that's our third note. Our fourth note is going to be F string, which means we'll let go of that and place another finger on the D string to play our F, which is our fourth note between second and third fret. Then after that, After number 4 comes the fifth note, G. Okay, notice it's on the top, which means again this is an open string. This is an open string, which means we don't place our fingers anywhere on the string to play G. We just pluck that string and it'll play the G note. After G, number 6 is your A. So we're going to take our same string, our G string, place a finger between first and second fret on the G string to play our A string. Now the 7th note is our B string, which is tuned to B right away. So this is going to be an open string. Okay, no fingers placed on the fretboard. But then our last note, our high C, it goes from low C to high C. That is our 8th note, and we're going to push one of our fingers between the nut and the first fret on the B string in order to play that high C. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go from low C all the way to high C and then back down. We just said we're going to ascend and descend. Okay, this is how we would play a C major scale on the guitar. Okay, so let's get right to work on it. Now that we've seen how this diagram, the guitar tab works, okay, I'm going to show it to you on the guitar itself. Okay, so I'm actually going to do an adjustment on the camera, if you will, so that I should say, I will do an adjustment so that you guys can see everything that I'm doing here. Just a slight adjustment. See everything that I'm doing on the neck here. All right, I'm going to go as close as possible. I think that should work. Okay, so let's all take, actually, I can probably move up a little bit closer. Okay, so following that same diagram, everybody, following that diagram, okay, we actually start with the A string, okay, which is the second one right over here, between the second and third fret on the A string, okay. So we're not going to the low E string by any means. We're not gonna do that. But between the second and third fret, and here's a general rule: between the second and third fret, we're always going to use any note that is in between the second and third frets. We're going to use our ring finger for that. Okay. So you're going to simply place. Okay, making sure your thumb, by the way, is behind the neck for support. Okay. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Again. See how my thumb is right there placed behind the neck? We're going to use that, okay? Technique-wise, we want to make sure that our wrist, look at the wrist on my left hand, that it's bent, okay? So that we have leverage over the strings, because ultimately we're going to use our fingertips, okay? Whichever finger we're using, we're going to use our fingertips to press very firmly. We're going to press very firmly to get the sound of that note, okay? We have to get it right. So firm, in fact, that the string has to touch the actual fretboard. It's got to touch it in order for it to make a nice, rich, and resonant sound, okay? If we sort of place it with and using, we're even bending the finger here so that I'm pressing firmly with the fingertips. Look at my fingertips. See how the string kind of digs into the fingertip? Okay, you're going to feel some pain through practice. Okay, it's going to happen, guys, but don't fret not, I should say. There's a pun, haha. But don't fret, as you will. Don't get upset by it, okay? It's supposed to happen that way so that you can build your fingers eventually, with much practice, repetitive practice, will build tolerance to that slight pain, okay? Your fingers will get stronger, okay, so to speak. You'll build dexterity and flexibility. So what you want to do is, again, take your ring finger with your thumb behind the neck for support. Bend your wrist and press firmly on that string for the low C. Then you're going to take your pick with your arm right over here, cradling the body. Okay, again, look, that's where it is. Look at my ring finger. Okay, make sure, again, wrist is bent. Okay, the string is pressed firmly enough that it's touching the fretboard, and you pluck the low C. Everybody pluck that low C and go. It should sound just like that, okay? Especially if your instrument is tuned. If it doesn't sound like the way my string sounds right now, by the way, it could be that your strings are not tuned the way it should be, okay? So I would double check that, make sure you tune it, and then come back and try this again. But that's the way your low C should sound like, okay? Now, after that, you're going to go over to the next string over here, but you're not going to fret that at all because that is an open string. That's your D string. And what comes after C? D, right? So you're going to take your pick, go over to the 1, 2, third string over here. You're going to pluck that. Excuse me. Okay. Let me try that again. Let me make sure I got that. Yeah, okay. So your D should sound like this. Okay. That's your third string, open string again. No fretting involved there. That's your D, okay? Now, after that, you're going to take the same string or middle finger. Any note that is between first fret and second fret, you're going to use your middle finger for that. And you're going to take your D string and press firmly with your middle finger tip, okay? You're going to press firmly, again, thumb in the back of the neck for support, and you're going to pluck the third string on your guitar. Everybody do that for me and go. That is your E. That is your E note, okay? So far, let's review those notes. We have our C, okay? Then we have our open string D. Then we have our middle finger placed between first and second fret on the same D string for the E note. Okay, that's our third note there. Then you're going to take the same D string, and now you're going to use your ring finger to go between the second and third fret and press firmly for F. And everybody pluck that F note. Okay, then after that, you're going to go to your G string. What comes after F but G, right? So that means, guess what? Since this is already the G string and the G note, so you don't have to fret that at all. You don't have to place your fingers on the fretboard for that particular string. That is an open string. So everybody pluck your G string, which is your fourth string down. Okay, that should sound like this. That's your G, okay? Then after that, you're going to take your same G string. Middle finger is going to go on the G string between first and second fret. Press firmly. That's going to be your A note. So everybody pluck the G string for your A note between first and second fret with your middle finger and go. That's your A note. Should sound just like that. Okay. Then after that, your seventh note on the scale is your B note, which we go right to the B string. See where I'm sliding right there? That's the B string. And because it's the B string, since B comes right after A, we don't have to fret that note, that string at all. We just open string. That's the way your B should sound, okay? And then your high C is going to go on the same B string between the nut and between the first fret. Your index finger, anything that you play between the nut and the first fret, that's where your index finger is going to go, and you're going to press it with your fingertip, okay? Pressing firmly again. That is a thinner string than the other ones, by the way, so you'll feel it definitely more going into your fingertips there, okay? But again, don't worry, they're not going to bleed. They're just going to toughen up. That's really what's going to happen, okay? And you pluck that B string for your high C. Last note. Ready? And go. Okay? So basically, from low C, we just went from low C to high C. Okay, and that is an octave apart. Everybody say that word. It is an octave apart, which means 8 notes apart. Okay, so we just went up the scale. Okay, but let's go backwards now. Now let's go backwards. So everybody pluck your high C string again with your index finger on your B string between the nut and the first fret. Here we go. Fingertip, press firmly, and here's high C. Good job. And then we're going to let go of that B string, okay, to play the B note, open string. Ready? Play the B and go. Good. Then we're going to go right to playing the A, which is your middle finger placed between first and second fret on your G string. Everybody, that's what you pluck on your G string. That's the fourth string down, and pluck that right now. That's your A, okay? Then you're going to let go of that because you got to play the G string all by itself as an open string. That's what comes before A. By the way, the musical alphabet goes from A through G. There's no such thing as an H note, an I, J, K, none of that. Okay, no Z note. Okay, it only goes from A through G. So when we go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, it starts all over again, going higher up as we go. A again through G. Okay, so you're going to play that G string all by itself. Fourth string down and no fretting. Here we go. Open string G. Go. Okay, and that's your G. And then you're going to go right to your F, which is between second and third fret on your D string, which is the third string down. Okay, and that is with your ring finger. Press firmly, and there's your F. Everybody play that. Good. Okay, then you're going to go on the same string, go to the first and second fret with your middle finger on the same D string. That is your E note. Everybody play the E note and go. Good. Then open string D. That is the D string. So now no fretting involved right there. You just play your D string, which is second to last note going downward. Ready? Everybody play the open string D and okay. And then after that, last note at the bottom, starting where we first started, go to your ring finger to the between the second and third fret on your A string. That is going to be your low C. And there it is. Play that with me right now and go. Okay. Wait, did I play the D yet? Yes. D and then low E, low C string and off. Okay. So that is how we play our C scale in step. When you practice, go one note to the other. Take it very slow and do it about 10 times a day. Then start to build a little bit of a tempo with you, okay? Start to build a tempo. Tempo meaning the pace, okay? How fast or slow you play something, right? So let's say I give myself a nice easy tempo going from the low C to the high C and back down, okay? So I would go like this. 1, 2, and ready, here I go, and low C, D, then E, then F, then G, then A, then B, then C, back down, and B, and A, excuse me, and A. Did I say, oh my goodness, oh, B, then A, excuse me, I'm totally messed up today. A, then G, then excuse me, F, and E, and D, and C. Okay, so as you can see, it's early in the morning. Okay, I messed up. But basically, if you're practicing that particular scale, okay, you want to keep yourself in a tempo. Notice, even though I made my mistakes, by the way, I just kind of kept going, okay? You keep going until you reach where you're supposed to reach, from low C to high C and then back all the way to low C again. And that will count as a first repetition. So what is your regiment? Every day, practice this scale every day, 10 times a day, 10 repetitions a day, all right? No more, no less, okay? Reason we want to do that, everybody, and you guys can put your guitars down. Remember to grab it by the neck always, okay? Reason why you want to do it 10 times a day is because you don't want to lose your motivation, okay? Especially when you can't get something and let's say you make repeated mistakes during your practice. You definitely don't want to lose motivation for learning the instrument, okay? If you try to play it for more than 10 times. You know, we have a half an hour class, but 10 times a day should last no more than 10 minutes or so, give or take, 8 to 10 minutes, something like that, okay? But do your 10 repetitions, okay? Do no more and do no less, okay? You definitely want to get enough repetitions so that you start to build muscle motor memory as you're playing, okay? So that your fingers kind of just know where to go, and then before you know it, you'll be developing a much faster tempo. You could go faster if you want to, but the only way to really do that and get fluidity going is by doing it 10 times per day in repetition and no more than that, again, so that you don't lose your motivation. Because what happens is too, when people try to practice for hours on end, okay, when that happens, then all of a sudden, the next day comes when they're supposed to practice. What do you think they're going to remember is all the frustration that they had the day before. And then they're going to say, you know what? I'll do it tomorrow. And then the next day comes. And then they go, I'll do it tomorrow. And then the next day comes. Before you know it, you've gone a whole week without practicing. And then you try to practice 2 hours before our lesson. Guess what? Progress is not going to occur. It's not going to happen. Okay. Not within those 2 hours. Even if you take 2 hours before our lesson, it's just not going to happen. So if you're looking for real progress, okay, it's got to be daily practice, every day consecutively, okay, as consecutively as you can get, okay, but make sure you do it about 10 times a day. That repetition will stay. So even if let's say you practice today, and then and within those 10 times that you did it, you weren't satisfied for the way your practice went. Doesn't matter. Put it away. Don't look at it. Wait till the next day to practice. What's going to happen is you're giving your brain time to settle and your fingers time to settle in what the task is. And then what happens is when you pick up the guitar the next day and you go right at the scale, guess what? Now you're starting to get a rhythm. You're starting to feel better, and you're actually doing a little bit better, maybe not a tons better, but maybe a little bit better each time you do it. And then the next day comes for another 10 times, you're getting better than the time before, you see? So it's a slow but gradual process, and it does happen as long as you stay strict. No more than 10 times a day, and definitely no less than 10 times a day. That is how we'll get better in everything that we do, okay, guys? So great job today. Give yourselves a little round of applause, okay, for your work, for your work and time in this, okay? Again, you should write these down. You should draw these guitar tabs, one that's vertical and the other one that's horizontal. This one has, again, just the label of all the letter names of all the notes as if they were open strings, right? With the frets and the nut here. And then over here, we have the horizontal version of the guitar tab that shows the order on which you're to play those particular strings. Definitely. Actually, you know what? I'm sorry, I forget. If you are a Patreon, if you are a member of the Academy, guess what? You don't really necessarily have to copy. You can if you want, but you don't necessarily have to copy this down, because very soon today, look on the dashboard, you will find this this practice as a practice chart. You are definitely going to find this there so that you can use as a reference to practice. And again, you can always go back to the video as well. So you're going to have all of that. But that's only, by the way, you might be looking at this lesson for free, okay? But if you're not a member of the Academy, you're not going to have access to this practice chart, okay? So if you want access to this practice chart, sign up right now. Pay the $20 for the month, okay? And get started on your lesson package, okay? It's only $20 a month, guys. Only $20 a month, okay? That means once a week for 4 or so weeks, you get a guitar lesson for only $20 a month. Go with anybody else. If you go with anybody else, the minimum is about $50 per lesson. That's the minimum. And how do I know this? Is because that's what I used to charge, okay? That's what I've charged in the past. So I know I've been in the game when it comes to private lessons, okay? So guaranteed, this is the best deal you're ever going to get when it comes to this single instrument lesson package. Make sure you sign up right now. Take it. Don't lose out, okay? Take advantage and see what I've taught you. This is going to definitely help you in future songs as well, okay? And this is just the beginning. We got more to do, everybody. Don't delay. Sign up, okay? I will see you guys in class. Great job today. And as always, I wish you happy practicing. Take care, everybody.